Hello, my name is David Winter from Motor Efficiency Limited, and I'd like to present an opportunity for your company to apply a special kind of performance enhancement service to your projects. The service is Project Health Control, PHC for short, and on the surface it may seem like risk management. But when you take a closer look, you find that it is in fact quite a lot more than that. Let me take you on a brief walk through the PHC service and hope that we can persuade you to put it to work for you. This walkthrough will be done using a mind map. In Project Health Control, mind maps are used extensively to gather, analyse and organise project data. And this presentation to you is a good example of why we've embraced this tool as a standard practice to enhance clarity in our communications with the project team. In this next few minutes, I'd like to say something about Project Health Control, how it's used, what it is, and in particular how you can see it as a tracking system. Then I'll outline some basic principles, and then I'll show you some of the outputs from the PHC service, and then finally I'll tell you how much it costs. When you first encounter a PHC service, you'll probably think risk management, whereas in fact we think it's better described as concerns management, where a concern is either a risk, a future event that hasn't happened yet and needs to be mitigated, or an issue, a current situation that's happening now and needs to be managed. In a typical risk management system, issues are typically viewed as the responsibility of project management. In our approach, we believe it's more effective not to limit the action tracking system solely to risks, but to apply the process to both risks and issues. PHC can be seen as a tracking system for the entire project, encompassing not only risks and actions, but also project deliverables. It's crucial to have a visibility and transparency on the status of both deliverables and project concerns, and PHC facilitates this continuous monitoring. We always want to know about the status of documents and purchase orders. We also want to know about the status of certain construction items, such as piles, pipes, buildings, instruments, vessels, and process plant units. PHC covers all of this and more depending on the need to align with the project's specific focus. Our first principle revolves around the production of a weekly report. While it may seem trivial, this report serves as both a comprehensive overview and a valuable tool for collecting feedback. The weekly report contains the entire output of the PHC service. Our second principle emphasises the importance of progress through feedback. Rather than wasting time chasing after specific risk and action owners, we avoid such unproductive endeavours. Our aim is to keep the numbers in the blue exceptions boxes on the dashboard consistently low, regardless of the project's workload. By utilising the weekly report, we can highlight and address any areas that require attention, ensuring the project stays on track. The third principle is centred around our holistic approach to project success, which necessitates the continuous maintenance of all 7 PHC lists. Every aspect of a project should be captured within these lists, which become known to the project team as the go-to reference for project status. The 7 PHC lists are key to the success that a PHC service can bring to your project. There are 4 kinds of PHC output. First is what you see in the weekly report, a combination of documents in PDF form that show extracts from the database that can be used for commentary feedback. Second category is mind maps that are maintained for each risk, for each meeting, and for general project information like risks by keyword and location maps, etc. For record purposes, we export data to the project's standard spreadsheet format, and we also produce spreadsheets of individual data for risks, actions and people as an alternative way to capture feedback. There are 5 PDF outputs for the PHC database. The risk register extract. This looks much like a traditional risk register in spreadsheet format, but presented as subsets of risks, grouped into useful selections. For instance, a personalised risk register extract is available for each of the risk and action owners, so they see their own consolidated list for what's on their plate. The heat map. This shows the risk selection plotted on a 5x5 likelihood impact matrix. The heat map is a very simple graphic tool that shows on the left the current situation and on the right the situation we can expect when all mitigation actions are completed. On both matrices, top right is bad and dangerous, bottom left is nice and safe. The objective is always for each risk to move towards bottom left. The dashboard, this shows summary numbers of risks divided by status and risk breakdown structure, and showing numbers of risks that have exceptions. The dashboard, more than any other of the PHC outputs, is the tool that motivates risk and action owners to get involved and make their contributions. The snapshot shows all information pertaining to a single concern. Every time we make a change to a concern, we make a snapshot that adds to the snapshot storage bank, from which we can see the history of the concern. That's very useful in audit situations and a good basis for documenting lessons learned. People lists, a simple reference to show up-to-date information on project participants. And it may seem trivial to maintain this people list, but it's surprising when you discover how much time is wasted when this information is not readily to hand. For each concern, there's a possibility to make and maintain a mind map. We don't do this always, but in cases where there is a lot of information to process and where the concern is complex, this is a useful tool for brainstorming and analysis. For each PHC event or meeting, we keep a mind map for effective capture of free-flowing information that can be consolidated later and processed. A PHC event is always fast-paced and brief, 30 minutes preferable, 60 minutes maximum. Long meetings with expansive attendance is always a main concern in any project, a major part of the genre of communications risk. We also have various mind maps for organisation and collection of project information, like keywords used in concerns management, risk breakdown structure, contract breakdown, and many more. The information that we publish in PDFs is really all the project needs for continued progress to completion. But often the corporate culture demands a conventional spreadsheet for records. We achieve this by making the spreadsheet regularly as an export from the PHC database using the project's legacy risk register template. For data capture, we place the spreadsheet in the project intranet for direct access by risk and action owners, so they can make date and narrative changes that are later processed by the PHC administrators. There are spreadsheets for risks and actions, and there's also a spreadsheet for people, so the project's people list can be continually refreshed by each individual updating their own information and contact detail. The service is provided by a small group of people that you can think of as your company's PHC department, just like accounts, design, admin, HSE, or any other department. We keep track of activity by using our time recording system and journal reporting system. So the nature and amount of work that's being done on the PHC service is continually clear. Activities fall into three categories of work done by strategist, analyst, and administrator. Arguably the administrator job is the most important, as that involves mainly processing feedback from the project team. Analysts work to organise the information, and the strategist acts as interface with the project management for higher level workshops, board discussions and commercial reviews. And the PHC team can be enhanced by a contingent of project staff who are trained on the job continually during the project. We suggest two ways as standard for the engagement of a PHC service. First option is 12 months commitment to engage one strategist at 10 hours a week, one analyst at 30 hours a week, and 3 or more administrators at a combined total of 90 hours per week. This makes a contract value of around $600,000 with a 20% payment up front and the remaining 80% divided into 11 further monthly payments. As the end of the contract term approaches, the commitment can be extended as needed for the project. Second option is the same as the first, but with commitment reducing to 3 months for one strategist at 10 hours a week and one administrator at 30 hours per week. This is a good way for the project to trial the PHC service with minimum commitment. Thank you for taking the time to watch this proposal and PHC walkthrough. For further information or to get started with a PHC service on your project, please don't hesitate to get in touch.